Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard Plays a Story About My Uncle. We are headed into the chasms. We have our third grapple, and we are going to continue our search for Uncle Fred. So, we have a jump coming up that is a bit tricky, and I am not confident in my ability to do it. So the difficulty here is that we want to use this to pull ourselves without bumping into it, and when we run into it, we end up not getting close enough to the rock that we need to grab onto. And you saw that you may have seen that my cursor did flash a little bit there, and I was able briefly to grab onto that, but again, that happened again where I hit the grapple button a little bit at the wrong time. And then we need... See, there we didn't quite get close enough to the third rock to be able to grapple inside of it, which is where Fred grabbed it. So we know that it's possible to grab onto it in the same place that Fred did, but that's not working out. So what we have to try and do, there we go, is kind of bounce ourselves off of the wall. And that will let us get enough height, and we have enough air control to push ourselves forward a little bit. Now there is a beeping down here, a device, so we can grab that and then jump back up here. And then we want to head across this way. And that was not too difficult. Now, this one also looks like it's going to be a bit tricky. We need to go through these archways. I'm going to see if I can short-circuit this a little bit, because I am... Ah, no, we ran into that, and it looks like we're not close enough to hit that. So, it's going to be really tricky. We need basically to go through each archway and not lose our momentum. And so, like, there we lost some momentum, and there we hit that again. We hit the rock and bounced off of it. So that is going to cause a lot of trouble for us. And it may be... Well, there I let go because I thought I had missed. So this is going to be probably a fairly difficult series of jumps. And in general, my policy with this series is that I'm going to do pretty liberal editing, and I'm going to just cut things down to what I think is enjoyable to watch. That made it through. Now, can we get enough? Ah, no, not if we hit the rock. Okay. So I may actually want to try and focus on where Fred put his grapples. And that is a bit tricky, but... Ah, see, yeah, that's the problem we're going to run into, is that we can't just focus on grappling where Fred grappled. We also have to figure out where Fred moved. Because if you see, if we do that, we bounce off and we're not able to get onto the third one. This is actually, I am re-recording this after yesterday's recording sessions overall went incredibly badly. I'm having a very frustrating weekend. And so why am I playing the most rage-inducing game that I cover on this channel? Well, I don't know. Hey, I think that's gonna make it. And I hear beeping. Let's see if we can find that. Sounds like it's off to the left here. There we go. So, I mean, this is... All of the games that I play are like this. They're these very repetitive games of grinding out little tiny improvements. Well, now that was disappointing. There are all these games of practice and repetition and very difficult challenges. Because that's what I love. That's what I love doing. That's what I enjoy most. And And so when I'm having a very frustrating weekend, that is what appeals to me, is just doing this very slow repetition that you will not see the most of it. There we go. Now we have, it looks like, another grapple coming up. And will that be enough to land us on this rock? Yes!
Darkness swept over me as I left the glittering lights in the village behind me and headed for the ominous shadows of the chasms. As I entered the chasms, it struck me how much darker it was in there. The shadows were black as ink, and although I tried not to be afraid, I couldn't help but shiver. Was it the darkness that frightened the villagers as well, or was it something else?
So now we are going into the darkest part of the game, and I noticed this arrow pointing down here, and as I get closer to it, I do hear some beeping, so let's see if we can find that. I'm not sure what we need to get over here. It is very dark in here. But, having played this before, I know that I can do that. You can grapple onto those plants, and it will light them up. So now we need to find our way out of here. There we go. Now, let's see, where are we going from here? Are we going up? That's certainly what it looks like. Yes, beautiful. And then along here, and then it looks like up these couple of jumps here. And it looks like we've got another one of these little number markers here. I don't really see how we're supposed to get across that way, though. Well, I can give this a couple of shots, and if there's an edit and then I'm suddenly doing something completely unrelated, you will know that I failed. Alright, I made it. There seems to be some kind of diagram that shows eggs, tadpoles, frogs, people. Seems to be showing the lifetime of a frog person, but it shows it going across a single month. And it looks like we can actually interact with this.
Tell me something else you did with Fred.
Well, early one summer morning, Fred took me down to the lake to watch the mayflies. Everything was still and quiet. The larvae floated on the lake's surface and slowly transformed into beautiful mayflies. Fred told me that they had been living on the bottom of that lake for a whole year, and that they would only live as adults for one single day.
That's sad. What if the only day you were out of the water was a rainy day?
That would be sad indeed.
So we're getting a little bit more of a look into how it is that Maddie has known Fred for her entire life, despite him only having been here for a couple of months. And it looks like getting back will not be anywhere near as easy as it was getting over here. But we can always use a checkpoint to do that. So now we just need to head over this way. And it looks like there may have actually been one. Yeah, there's one off to the left here that I missed. So let's give this a shot. And we just need to avoid running into any of these. And it looks like we're going to try and land on this thing. There we go. Where are we headed next? Looks like over this way. There we go. Where's that going to take us? Is there a checkpoint around here that we can... No, it doesn't look like it. Alright. So where are we headed now? Anything to see down here? It looks like there's another symbol. Wonder if there's anything to find in here. Looks like some fireflies. Another one of these lamp plants. And some more of this writing that I do not yet know how to read this, so I cannot say what it is telling us yet, but I think that's something that we will be able to figure out soon. I believe we're going to learn the script very soon. But for now, let's head back, and perhaps in editing I will be able to slip in a little bit about what that rock says. More of these lovely fireflies. It's a really nice effect. And they seem to kind of show you where you should be looking. Interesting places to find. Now here's another one of these arrow things, but it doesn't seem to be pointing at much of anything.
Maddie?
Hi, I'm glad you came. Sorry about back there. I just get so frustrated. They cling so desperately to what they know, won't ever do anything new. It feels better when Fred is around. But
I told Madeline I didn't mind, and I asked her what she was doing with the book.
oh, these writings? It's like a secret language. They are done by people who left the village long ago. They're called the Strays, but no one wants to talk about them. I started translating their language with help from a stray book that Fred found. This one says, "Don't move when the eye is open," I think. I wonder what it means. Whatever. We should get going. Why don't you take me on your back? It'll be faster if you carry me. I used to piggyback on Fred all the time. Turn around and I'll hop up. You're not going to drop me, right? Okay, let's go.
Madeline climbed up on my back, and with the suit on, I could barely feel the extra weight.
You can still jump just fine. I kind of am suspicious of her claim that it will be faster, considering that she beat me to the village and she beat me here. But that does not matter so much.
The winding, narrow tunnels felt like they were closing in on me. They were oddly long and twisting, almost like someone, or something, had dug them out. With Maddie on my back, I had to be careful not to bump her head on the ceiling.
Alright, wasn't sure we were going to land on anything there. Is this going to show us anything useful? I am not sure. Doesn't look like it. Looks like there's something up there to see. Or is that where we came from? I think that's where we came from. I'm not sure, but maybe that's where we're going. No, that's where we came from. That's where we're going. Alright, I think I've got it. And up. And across. and up. And that's a very nice little flight there. Keep thinking maybe there will be Easter eggs if we turn on these lights, since pretty soon we will be told to turn them on.
Farewell, old life. Let us start anew. The Strays were ordinary people living in the village long ago. They disagreed with the old traditions and left to form their own village, or they were thrown out for misbehaving. The stories differ a bit.
So that should be enough clues for me to read a bit of text I mentioned earlier. So that will be something for me to work on. I think I'm going to wrap up this episode here, and in the next episode we will continue on into the Chasms. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.